Hello and welcome to the Crone Zone. I'm Lynn. During meditation this morning, I got a really strong push to come on and do a reading for the new moon in Aquarius, which is happening this coming Friday in the UK. That is the 9th of February. It's a really significant moon. Now, this year, the 9th of February, is also the date of the Chinese New Year. And I don't profess to know a great deal about Chinese astrology. I know very little. But I know it heralds the year of the wood dragon. And I know that the Chinese New Year is based on the second new moon following the winter solstice, which of course brings us to our present moon in Aquarius this Friday. If you are somebody who understands Chinese astrology, maybe you could leave a comment below for us and give us a few steers as to what it might mean. Let me talk just a little bit about new moons in general. When the moon is new, it is, from our point of view on Earth, right by the sun. Now, that means that we don't see it. We never see a new moon. It's what we call the dark of the moon. And it's a very powerful time, actually, for seeding things, for growing wishes, and also for traditional magic of all sorts. Now, just as seeds are planted in the dark of the earth, so new beginnings are planted in the dark of the moon. So you can see it very much as a seeding time. A time when things are seeded, when plans are made, when intentions are set. And that will be true for every new moon. But this new moon in Aquarius has some added factors working with it for sure. And I see this new moon as an instigator. It is a real instigator of awakening. I will get into exactly why I'm saying that in a moment or two. And it is sounding a clarion call, really, because of other aspects to it, for a period of change, really dramatic change. So let's begin at the beginning and get into this step by step. So the new moon is in the sign of Aquarius, and the card which rules Aquarius is this one here, which is the beautiful star card. Now, the thing with the star card is it's very, very beautiful. It's about hopes. It's about faith. It's about trusting in the future. But it can also be quite distant. Now, Aquarius is known for the distance of its thinking. The sign, your moon is there, or your sun, or your ascendant, it's often 30, 40, maybe even more years ahead of the collective as a thinker, as a sign. And certainly when we look at these distant stars, the Pleiades that are in the background there, this can be quite distant horizons, which we must have our eyes on. It's not necessarily something coming into being immediately, but the promise of this moon in this sign is of this much, much better vision of the future, something much better. Now, it also has some resonances of a galactic influence. We'll go into that a little bit more. So it may be that I think already we're seeing plans for return to the moon and all sorts of things like that, but it may go deeper than that. We must keep an eye on it. But this is the age of Aquarius. So this new moon isn't simply a new moon. It coincides with a shift into the sign of Aquarius generally, which we'll discuss more in a moment. So we have far distant visions, hopes, dreams, beauty. This world that's much more in touch with the spiritual world. That is the promise of the card, but it could be a long-term promise. In addition to that card, the card which rules this period of time on the wheel of the zodiac is the Six of Swords. This is really heralding transition, and it is the transition of the ages, moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. And we are very much on the bridge of this. We're bridging in, we're the bridge people, bridging in this new time. This card has many, many possible meanings. It's a very rich card indeed. Crowley said of it that it was the most profound of all the minor arcana cards. And this is about Mercury in Aquarius, and Aquarius is the higher octave, or rather Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, and Uranus rules Aquarius. So it's higher thinking, which can detach from the purely personal and immediate self-interest and go to a higher truth. This card also shows obvious transition from the choppy waters to calmer waters. It's not a total escape because we're taking all those swords with us, but we are transitioning. We are in a period of real transition right at this moment. So what is the point of this transition? Well, a card I want to show you is this card, the World, and this shows a completed cycle. This card is ruled by Saturn. And Pluto has been for quite some years in the sign of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. And it's now moved into Aquarius. Now, when Pluto was in Capricorn, it was really breaking down old structures. As Pluto moves into Aquarius, it's shining the light. Pluto is also always like a searchlight for any corruption, problems, things that need to be thrown out and overhauled. It's relentless. And it's now moved into the sign of Aquarius, heralding a complete new beginning. So we're cycling out of one cycle and cycling into another. And this is the card associated with Pluto. And you can see it's this huge wake-up call. It's this huge shake you awake, one way or another, you will wake. And I want to pick up here on this notion that collectively we can be asleep. We call coming into consciousness the awakening. And I think it's very easy for us on a spiritual level to be in a type of slumber of the ages, with everything just ticking over, dreaming this dream that the way we perceive the world is reality, when it's just maybe one stuck version of it. So there are real forces afoot at the moment to shake us awake from that. And one of those forces, as well as Pluto, I will come back to Pluto, is the planet Uranus, which governs the Fool. And Uranus is squaring the new moon. It's absolutely there, challenging, squaring that new moon in Aquarius. This is the ruler of Aquarius. And this is about overturning things. It's about shocks. It's about surprises. Uranus is called the Great Awakener. But Uranus doesn't waken we sleepers by gently singing a lullaby in our ears or something. This is often a shock awakening. It can be a nice surprise, but it will be completely unexpected. So this is a period coming in not just around the new moon, because the influence of the moon is much larger than the days it covers. It's instigating some real profound changes, and they will be out of the blue. You won't see these coming. This is the thing with Uranus. You never see it coming, but it comes. Can be good, can be challenging, but we will be shaken awake if we're not waking anyway. That's the message here. And there's also a message with the Fool to trust. There's the Fool on the cliff edge. We have to take those leaps of faith. I talked about the Star card and faith. We have to take the leaps of faith. It can be scary. Everything can seem very new. Nothing can seem like familiar ground. The ground can appear to be shaking under us, but we must take the leap of faith. This morning's news gave the message that King Charles of England has cancer. That's the kind of shocking news that Uranus can bring in. And it's news that, many, many people suffer from cancer. I appreciate that. But in this instance, has the potential to completely transform the British monarchy. We don't know whether the king will be able to remain in his post or not. So the potential there for destabilisation is pretty great, really. Let me just say another word about Uranus and Aquarius. Uranus is genius, It is the lightning strike of genius, inventions and ideas and things that come out of the blue that we don't know where they come from, but come they do. So this could be the seeding of some amazing technologies, really, things of the far future. It could be potentially scary or could be potentially magnificent, but there's huge potential there for breakthroughs, really significant breakthroughs happening. So I want to just flag up that side of things. And individually, there's the call for us here to, move into new aspects of ourselves that can feel a bit frightening. I've never done this before. I've never experienced this before. I'm on new ground. That's the kind of feeling that many of us could be getting quite a lot. So listen out for your own genius ideas. And remember, some of those ideas, when they first come, could seem so out there. You might think, I've gone crazy, what on earth am I thinking of? Don't dismiss it. Tune in, because there can be huge gifts of innovation there and creativity there. So I said that we're finishing one cycle and moving into another. And I've also said that through, Pluto, we expect the wake-up call. I want to bring in this card as well, the Tower, because I think this lightning bolt that strikes it is very symbolic of the way that old structures that do not serve purpose will be discarded. They will be superseded by other things. And of course, it can be destabilizing. It can feel very uncomfortable. Uranus is a planet of change, of revolution, breakout, breakdown, breakthrough. All of those things comes with Uranus. And also, as I've said, the gifts of some genius inventions. Now, Uranus and Aquarius is opposite on the wheel to Leo, which we spoke about in the previous video about the full moon in Leo. And Leo is very much about the self, the heart center, inhabiting the heart center. And Aquarius really about the higher mind. and getting tuned into the higher mind. And I would like to bring in this card, the Wheel, which is about big cycles of change. Goes very well with us cycling out of this because, the wheel is the turn of the ages, the turn of the day, the turn of the week, the years, the centuries, epochs, the great age. And if you recall, when we first looked at this card, I've said, if you're living life on this outer rim, you can feel tossed and turned and churned, thrown in all directions if you're riding the outer rim of the wheel. The place to be on the wheel is right in there, in the center. And what is the center then? What can we call that? Well, I think we can call it the heart center. I think we can call it that part of us that is still and there forever. And I'd like to then take that back to Leo, which is very much about the heart, about staying in the heart center, growing the heart. As I think that's going to be very important to stabilize the Uranian, Aquarian energies that are coming in, is this staying with the heart. That's not resisting those energies, they're impossible to resist, but you do have a place of quietude within, which is the heart. So I'd like to end the video with the Sun card, and I've picked two variants of this. I've picked the Rider-Waite Sun, where the child is showing the heart center, this exposed open heart, and also this beautiful card from the Wildwood Tarot of open-heartedness. I think if we can marry those two things, the heart and the energies of the far out there Aquarian moon and of Uranus, then that is the way to be stabilized. That's the way to remain at the still turning point of the wheel. I think, what's disturbing, what's exciting, sometimes the difference between the two can be hard to know, can't it? I do wish you a safe and peaceful navigation through this moon. I think there could, shortly after the moon, there is a coming together of these two energies of Mars and Pluto. I think that's on Valentine's Day. So, we could be seeing some destructive energies at that time. Could be seeing, there could be events at that time, personally, collectively, that we can look out for. If you have enjoyed this video, please like it give it a thumbs up, and do leave a comment if you feel able. And the reason I say that is it helps spread the videos to other listeners, and helps get the message out there. I do wish you a very happy Chinese New Year. I wish you a peaceful, blessed new moon. We were made for these times. We were born for these times. We are here to see in this amazing transition. So I wish you love and I wish you peace, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.